Mr. Chris Taylor.
That's it.
Happy second day of snook season.
Second day of snook season. I think it is a happy day of second day of snook season because some of you viewers might not like that, but when I get home, I'm going to be cooking up some nice snook.
He took a slot home. Yeah, I had a rough day. He had a good day.
Pretty slot. Nice.
Well, you guys got a nice redfish, nice snook. You had a pretty good day out there.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, for the time we got on the water, because we got out there late, and with all the fresh water and everything going on, so it was enjoyable to be out on the water the first day of snook season. I got a lot of flack for it on Facebook. That's all I know.
You know, somebody's got to get out there and have fun and take all the
Somebody's got to take care of paradise,
but,
folks.
you know, folks, we're fishing mostly the Myakka area. Right now, the water's flowing like there's no tomorrow. It's been raining really fiercely, so we've got a lot of fresh water flowing in the spillways coming into the rivers. So it's been really dirty, a lot of fresh water washing in. I had a rough day out there. I hit Rocky Creek up there, you know, in the south end of the Myakka cutoff, and I just didn't have a lot of luck.
Well, we were also trying a new prototype lure from Bill.
Yeah.
Bill made us up some new lures, and we were going out there strictly to see how this bait worked and to what kind of effect it had on the fishing. A little too late in the day for it to actually really work for it better. We're planning a low light trip where we can really, you know.
I told Chris when I got done, I finished up about 11:30, 12 o'clock. Actually, it was later. It was about 1 in the afternoon. It was hot.
Yeah, you did.
And yeah, I sent Chris a text. I said, I ain't fishing here no more. I'm going to the east side of the harbor. And just so much fresh water washing down the Peace River and the Myakka.
It's on both sides, though.
It's true, but right now there's a little better blue water flushing through, you know, around, you know, Ponce de Leon, Alligator Creek, a little more open there. So I'm heading down there.
Think about it. Colin lives up there in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Every bit of rain from Orlando to us is coming out to Charlotte Harbor, okay? I mean, it's just coming right down the middle of the state.
It's the sheet
and
flooding.
It just pours right out. That's why we're an estuary. That's why our fishing is so good, because all those things that are coming flowing out now with that fresh water, all of our saltwater fish and everything are just gobbling it up. They're eating it up, and that's why they're not eating our lures and stuff up now.
It's true. There is a lot of baits. Matter of fact, I was at the ramp at the Port Charlotte Beach ramp, and a little alligator was caught up in some line. He got loose. He's okay, but they're flowing right over the spillways here on 41. The alligator, baby gators, bass, cosmos.
Well, they're coming out because
so
it's just a little more room to adventure.
And while we're on the subject, the spillways on 41 are opened up, so if you like fishing those along there, there's really some great tarpon and snook fishing in there.
Land fishing spots, guys, where you can stop and throw your Daniel's deceiver out there and see what kind of crash you get, you know?
It's amazing. I know the 202 does great. I think it kind of mimics a frog a little bit. When these fish come this far up into the creeks, they're looking for frogs, they're looking for rats.
They're looking for anything. They're looking for anything
Food.
that's moving.
Yeah.
And that basically has a lot of noise. Our water's very dark, tannicky color right now.
Very
it
dark.
almost looks like somebody made a bad batch of pudding and coffee mixed together and mixed it up.
It looks like brine. I mean, it's very dark, and the first thing I noticed, and it's just a lot of fresh water flowing in it. But now you were out there, I saw you put a quarter piece of a blue claw crab on there. You threw your line out, and you didn't have time to put in the rod holder, it was gone.
It's not the claws, guys. I really should have took the time to video how I cleaned the crab. I went to my local crabber. He catches me some smaller, what I call fishing crabs. They're, you know, he's got to have them at least 5-inch to use in his selling process. So sometimes he'll get some what we call shedders, or sort of crabs that are sort of weak and small, and he throws them off in a bucket for me. I take the top cap off of them with a knife in the back. I lift the top cap off of them.
So you pop the top shell right off it? Yeah.
I pop both of the claws off of it. You can just take your pliers and smash him like that. If he's alive and you want to keep him alive, have him look at you and just pinch his claws right off right at the joints, and he won't start bleeding to death at that point. He'll just, they're meant to lose their claws.
Like Chris said, now he doesn't grab the claw and rip it out of the crab. He actually cuts it so that he doesn't pull the lungs and everything the whole inside of the crab out.
Don't pull the lungs out if you're going to use it as a live crab, because some people like to use a smaller crab and
use the whole thing.
Yeah, use the whole thing and throw it out there. And there's some fish out there that will thump that thing.
Oh, sure. You're going after those big tarpon.
Yeah, but what I'm doing is I'm taking the top off of it, and I throw that top into a little bucket, okay? And I take the claws off, and I throw them into a little bucket, and then I cut it in half. I cut it with a knife in half, and then I also cut it in half again at that point, and it comes with 4 little sections. Now you got the legs sticking out. I cut the legs off because I don't really like that big leg hanging out. and then right through that gooey part where the leg is like the joint, the roto cup part of it, I put the hook right into there. You don't have to put it into the meat or anywhere, just put it in there. Believe me, when a redfish or a snook finds it, they go, if you've ever seen a video of it, they come up and they'll sort of bump it, they'll back up and they'll poof,
Yep.
and they'll just suck it in.
down.
And if you're watching a video of it, it just disappears.
Yep.
So, and then it's game on.
Works well, you know, you'll see from the video, you know, got that redfish on pretty quick.
5 seconds?
Yeah, a few seconds.
5 seconds.
Done.
I pulled up. I said, I better turn the video on just so we don't miss anything because this spot is so hot right now. Threw up in there, and before I could really even get anything turned around, he'd already taken me, and I had left the hard part of the shell on, and he just ripped that right off.
Yep.
And so I looked at it, hooked it back up, threw it in there, and was starting to talk to the camera. You'll see, and it just I'm talking stud redfish. It was nice.
It was beautiful, beautiful. And again, you know, if you want to keep it alive, one thing I learned from Chris is cut the claws or, you know, the big pincher claws off. Don't rip them out. You're gonna rip whatever. I don't know if it's lungs, membrane, whatever.
Well,
it has,
that way
but
we were fishing it
you
dead.
could kill it.
We were fishing it dead because we were cutting it up in pieces. But when your crab is alive, when you start with, it's that, you know, live bait always makes better bait, right?
Sure, absolutely.
If you start with a live fish and cut it up in pieces,
fresh is
it
good.
makes fresh. The meat is nice and pointy.
Yeah.
If the meat has been frozen, or if it like crab has been frozen, it falls apart real quick.
Yep.
You know.
Oh, we're not looking like the Bobsey twins on purpose. Fat Point, thank you for the shirts. Yeah, these are comfortable. I'll tell you what, nice
I like
and
it.
cool.
I'm okay with this.
Very comfortable.
I'm okay with
We
the
got
good beer because it's 105 degrees out today.
This is good beer. Now, me and Bridget stopped by Fat Point in the tap room. You get that double dark beer, is great. I mean,
I like a darker beer too, but I only drink one anyway, so a nice dark beer has a nice flavor.
Well, it's robust. It's not really, you're not going to go there and knock down a case of beer. I mean, it's there to, it's a sipping beer. It's there to enjoy their robust stout beers that they have, a great menu. So, you know, they open at 4 o'clock, got to get out there and try them. They're sponsoring my attempt, the International Game Fish Association at a tarpon. That's going to be at least, I hope, a local record. I'm going for a state, national, or world record. Problem, of course, with the world record is you have to get the kill permit, and in order to be a real on-the-books world record with them,
oh no, you have to take it in.
got to bring the fish with you. So it's not likely that we're going to go to that distance. We will definitely get the state and the local record in. But I don't think that we're going to, at this point in time, at least kill a tarpon that can produce a lot more tarpons and really fill our estuaries with what we need here as a game fish to catch.
I've always been fun with just hanging
I have
on to them,
fun.
ride them.
Yeah,
It's like a rodeo, guys. You grab onto it, you ride till you fall off.
I could use my phone and take all the pictures, video, I'll bring you right there in the action. I even have an app I'm finishing now that measures the fish while you're taking its picture for a Sea Cloud application. Very cool, you'll see that in Sea Cloud. So yeah, just follow Fishy Fins. Fishy Fin, this is a good beer. And we polished all this off before we started the show.
Easy now. I've been on the golf course with the boys for the last, 3 hours.
Okay, I polished now.
Okay.
But anyway, you know, it's really some good fishing. We'll keep the Facebook and the website updated with the tarpon video and stuff. I got some you can check out now while we're talking. But let's get back to the redfish and the snook. Talk to me. I saw the electric chicken jig, Strike King. You were nailing them again with it. I saw flounder. I saw redfish. I caught a couple of nice redfish with them.
You know, well, when the sun starts coming up and it's not low light situations, I go right to my pink jig, and because if Frankie knows me, I'm very effective where I throw that thing. I can put that pink jig just about anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And you can either work it like this, so that it's going like this, or you can go like this. You can just barely reel it and just twitch, and keep it down here lower to the surface of the bottom, or you can jig it high and get it up near the surface of the water.
Sure.
So you can use the whole water column with that bait. It doesn't just work the surface. You can work the bottom, you can work here, you can work here in the water column. It works the whole column.
It's a color that works great. The action of the bait works great. And when you start, you go up to Walmart, you go down there and you look at the price for a couple of bucks, you get, what are they, like a quarter a piece, 50 cents a piece, not even.
Well, it's $3. $3 for a bag of 6.
I think it's
five or six.
But I mean, for the money, 50 cents a piece, you're really gonna have a good time fishing. And we catch.
My problem is I make one of those jigs up, and if they don't take it off my line, or I get it hung in a tree or something.
All right, we're at Fine Bait and Tackle in Northport, Florida. Roger's got a great variety of baits here, lures, fishing poles. Check out, he's even got this awesome Canyon reel here now. Check this sucker out, the EX80. Beautiful shark rod. We're going to be going out with some of his shark guys soon, so we're going to get some great shark video on that Canyon rod or a rod like it, that's for sure. Check out this great stuff, man. Beautiful.
Fishing anywhere.
I think this is I think we're really getting ready for a great fishing season. When fall comes, we're going to see some nice redfish. We're going to see some nice snook still throughout the season. So I'm getting back out there. I'm getting on the east wall. I think Ponce Leon Park, Alligator Creek, down Pirate Harbor. That whole, the keys and the harbor keys are just unique. Right now we got a lot of water. It's summer. It's the time to get in there and fish them. Winter when the water leaves the harbor, it's hard to get back in there unless you're in a kayak or a canoe. You're not going to get too far back in those keys. So I want to get Chris to come out there with me this week. I grew up out there, so I know some of the areas.
That's what we want to talk about, boys.
So, yep, that's
home sweet home.
Exactly, going back to the old proving grounds. But
no, he's got to beat me when we go over there. He can't let me win.
Nah, no, I'm telling you, this is the truth. Pirate Harbor, we used to actually walk around those flats with Johnson Sprites.
That's my dad just drop us off.
Johnson Sprites, and that's it all day long. Catch all redfish, trout, everything.
We had Johnson Sprites, and we had old JB Bradshaw's trout touts with a double love lure jig and a wooden pop cork on top.
Love lures, yep, remember those?
Yeah, my dad would give us 2 of those and a Johnson Sprite, and he'd drop us off in the flats, and there was a whole bunch of us youngins when it comes to Taylor's.
Oh, yeah.
I had a big old family, so we would be out there on the flats fishing, and then they would just take off, and they would, because my dad's 6'5", he'd walk right out to the outside bar like it was nothing.
Yep.
And we'd fish inside the bar, and inside the bar at Pirate Harbor is awesome.
All kinds of fish.
It's loaded. Back when we were kids, it was phenomenal.
Well, we're going to work the area from probably around Bird Key all the way up to Alligator Creek, up that area, where I think the old Poachers cuts up in there around Alligator Creek and maybe a little bit north of there.
I tell you what, we got a Labor Day weekend coming up here, and I'm sure this show's going to be out and aired up and ready to go for you guys. I took my boy out. You're going to see video of me and Colin out fishing. And where we have the redfish video is in Turtle Bay, guys.
Oh, yeah.
You usually don't see Coach getting down to Turtle Bay because there's so much water you got to pass that's so fishable.
Oh, yeah.
Why drive that far to go catch a fish when I figured there's 9 miles before that I can catch a million fish? So I'm very simple when it comes to don't drive very far, fish hard.
Hey, every time I catch a big fish under somebody's dock that has a nice boat sitting there, I laugh and go, look, you're getting in your boat and going someplace else. I just caught a big snook under your dock. Truth, there's always bigger fish someplace else.
Well,
always.
no, everybody, when you end up getting a nice boat, the first thing you want to do is take a boat ride, you know what I'm saying? And it's a lot cooler at 105 degrees when you're going 35 miles an hour,
It is a great feel. When you're at the boat ramp and you're fishing on the boat ramp yourself and somebody comes up in a boat and you hook a big snook and rail it in while they're ramping their boat or bringing it back going, oh no, right? $40 in gas, $50 in bait, and this guy catches a snook right next to the ramp.
Right there at Port Charlotte Beach, guys, right next to the dock. I mean,
snook.
you have two spots that put in at Port Charlotte Beach like this, okay? The dock on this side of it, walk halfway out on that dock, aim straight down that bank, and start throwing my pink jig or one of those Daniels later in the evening down through there, and you tell me what you think about what's down there. There's some monsters.
Alligator Bay is full of fish. I mean, if you're looking for tarpon, that's the place to look for tarpon.
Tarpon are everywhere.
I was following tarpon. I went out there the other morning must have been about 6:30 at sunrise and looking for tarpon. I was using the custom rod Paul made. I got the Daniels Deceiver Glass minnow on it.
Nice.
So a nice big setup for big tarpon. And I mean, they migrate from where the Mayaca comes out and goes into the Peace River right outside of those sandbars.
Guys, those tarpon
right to Port Charlotte
running.
Beach.
They're running everywhere right now. Yeah. I was back up in the one video you're going to see that we're doing in here is a redfish video with the crab that we were talking about earlier, and that was back up towards Tippecanoe area.
Oh,
right?
okay, yep.
There is big, huge schools of tarpon back there right now. Not to mention, I seen 2 very prominent schools of red back in there.
Sure.
And I'm talking, when I mean prominent schools, I mean they hump up to where they look like they're humping the water up like this high above the water. The whole school is pushing so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some nice ones outside of Rocky Creek going into the south end of the cutoff. But they are, I mean, they're out on the flats.
Trout Creek has a
Trout Creek, I caught a couple. You'll see the video.
has a big school of reds out in front of it. If you guys know Trout Creek at all, it has a bar out in front of it, and those redfish are running back and forth on the bar, and when it gets really low tide, they run inside where you've seen my tarpon video, back inside Trout Creek on that deep side. They go back in there and sit and wait, and then when the tide starts coming out, they come back out in front of that bar, and they work. If you look at an overhead video of Trout Creek entrance, there's a winding creek that comes right into it, and those red are always somewhere in that area right there.
Well, just remember, where the water flows through the creek on the bends is where the deep troughs are, and that's where the reds lay, and that's where the snook lay, you know, and that's where they are.
They're up those oysters. That's
well, you know, there's an oyster bed right in the center there where that island is. There's actually an oyster bed.
There's oysters everywhere in Charlotte Harbor. That's why we're an estuary, guys.
That's why there's so many redfish running around.
That's why we're an estuary, though.
But I mean, they're running. Dick and the tarpon are. I mean, they're running the outside of the bars in the morning. On high tide, you'll find them up in the creeks. On low tide, you'll find them out there toward the edges of the bars and the mouths of the creeks.
I was going to say, they were all over the front of the cutoff mouth, all the way around the outside of the cutoff.
Along the sand.
Found them. There's a trough that runs around the outside of any of the bars or islands we got around here, and those tarpon were everywhere. All I seen was you see little tiny pencil fins come sticking up like this, and that's when you know them tarpon are coming in. You know.
No, I saw some buses out there. They weren't interested in anything I was throwing at the time, but it's all timing with tarpon. You got to throw the right bait. They were definitely going after the bait fish.
The tide has to be moving. The moon has to be right. The tarpon are very finicky about. It's like a cat. I look at Frankie's cat over here. Cats sort of like to eat what they like to eat when they like to eat it and how they like to eat it. Not any other way.
Yep. Yeah, tarpon are very finicky. They don't like to be spooked, so they like to take their time. And so generally, you put a nice bait in front of them and let it sit there and tease them a little bit, and they're on it. But not for me that morning.
Well, you know, there's one trick I'm going to show you guys here soon, because I catch them. Even on this last trip, I caught a catfish, and if you take a catfish where the 3 points are out on the back of that catfish, and you cut around right where those 3 points are and pull the head off, leave the guts hanging out, and hook that fish in the tail. Now you're going to have a piece of meat. You know, you don't want to get a huge catfish, but a catfish about that big for the body. Hook it through the tail so it doesn't spin, and throw it out where those tarpon are at. It's the favorite cobia and tarpon bait of all. There's nothing that they like more than a catfish.
Catfish meat, yeah.
A catfish.
When I see snook over here at these flows eating pocossumus, suckerfish coming over the side,
and that's the same thing, right?
Yeah, it's a catfish.
And it's the same thing. It has that pointy 3 points sticking up. It's got the 2 points sticking out the side and the 1 point up the top. So you're not swallowing me, buddy.
It's funny, a guy on Facebook posted a picture of pocossumus he caught, and he's like, "What is this thing? I just caught this up here," and everybody's like, "Oh, it's a suckerfish." But I'm like, "That's snook candy, man. Throw that out there with a hook."
You know, guys, and by rules, when we take a pocossumus out of the water, we're not supposed to re-enter it in the water.
Yeah, it's an invasive species.
It's one of those in the tilapia, you know, stage. They want you, when you remove it from the water,
keep it out.
They want you to keep it out.
It's like the Oscars you find in these
because these things are invading our area and making not the same as it was before.
Absolutely. You look at Tappan Zee back here in Port Charlotte, that whole waterway system. So many people have let Oscars go in that waterway that there's no bass, there's no it's just Oscars. And anything, birds, anything, they wipe them out. I mean, they just eat and kill everything, so it's full of Oscars. So catch something that's an invasive species, get it out of the water. But okay,
it tastes good.
Oh, you know, I hear Oscars taste very good. I couldn't
start eating them up.
I've seen too many with headworms in people's tanks. But
Frankie used to have a whole tank full of Oscars back in the day.
Yeah, that was
we'd sit there, we'd bring the bag of fish and just cut a little hole in the bag and let them swim out one at a time, and they'd go.
Oh yeah, they love those.
They start smacking the bag.
Yep. But they're aggressive. They hit just like snook or any cichlid. They're aggressive. But anyway, yeah, we're definitely going to get some fishing done this week. I'm going to drag Chris out to the east wall, and he's going to kick my ass out there. We'll see. I'm going to get you addicted to the east wall. I'm telling you.
I love the east wall, guys. I'm going to tell you what, but like I tell Frankie, I hate to travel 9 miles to fish somewhere when I have to go 9 miles past so much good fishing to get there.
It's true, but it's a little different. I mean, it's
no, the east wall is definitely different. It's a little more shallow,
yep,
and there's a lot more islands.
Yep.
A lot more islands. I do have, he doesn't know it, but I fished quite a bit on the east side.
Well, we're going to go out there and kick it. I think it's going to be awesome. I want to figure while the water's high, we're going to hit the lower keys just below Alligator Creek, and then as the water goes out, we'll shoot into Alligator Creek and work those mangroves a little bit.
I got my areas over there that I like. I've had some record snook on over at Alligator Creek.
Oh yeah.
In the younger years that you just never stopped because we didn't have equipment that would stop them. I mean, it'd just be
gone.
But now I know. Listen, guys, ding, 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 ding. I see you coming back to me. Let's go. I want to take a picture with you. So.
No, there's some big snook. Biggest snook I ever caught was with Bill in Ponce de Leon area. We're in the back end of the canals trolling. And whammo, that was the 803 we were using, the red and white 803.
If you guys ever want to catch a big snook, just troll ponds,
42,
troll
44
Alligator
inches.
Creek,
Huge.
troll ponds, troll Alligator Creek. You're gonna end up coming across one of these snook that we're talking about, and at that point you're not hooked on snook fishing for the rest of your life. I don't know what's up.
I grew up in Pearl Harbor back in the 70s. Snook were junk fish. Everybody, the commercial fishermen hated them because they tore up their nets.
They took our line and broke our lines.
Cut them, so they were junk fish, and we used to actually go out and dig.
They used to call them soapfish. Soaps.
But as a matter of fact, in the wintertime when it froze, they get real cold. They go up on the banks at night, and most of the times they die if we got a hard freeze and roll over. And growing up out there back then in the 70s, there were snook bigger than this table that were sitting up in the banks. There was one
nobody would eat them though, guys.
Well, yeah, they were junk fish back then.
They called them junk fish.
And a friend of mine gigged one, just it was dead anyway. I mean, but back then it was legal to gig them. And he gigged a snook, and when he was trying to get it over the side of the john boat, it snapped the pole.
I was gonna say the gig.
I mean, it was that heavy, and I mean, they were just enormous. And those big snook are still there, and they're coming back well. From the freezes, the red tides,
they've been here for eons, guys. They're a great fish. I mean, everybody loves these aggressive snook. I mean, I hear people come down here and go, I can't believe we get to go to Port Charlotte and catch trout. And we're like, are we going to catch another trout? Man.
Trout, we went out one day. We caught so many trout, I just lost count.
We have so many trout in Charlotte Harbor.
Well, the trout are all over. The redfish have come back great. I mean,
the redfish are very thick now.
They're thick. They're coming back well. They're big, and so the restrictions are paying off on the redfish because we're seeing a lot of bigger numbers, so bigger breeders, so more in the estuary.
When me and Colin went down to Cape Hayes Point, I decided because we seen so much. The wind had been blowing all night. And they had a full moon, so these fish probably had fed a lot all night on Friday, because Friday was a full moon. We went out on Saturday. When I got down to the end of Cape Hayes Point, there was a big school of big red down there. And so we got up on him, me and Colin, I said, do you want to go? And we had the crab there, and he's like, yeah, let's go try one. The one back rod nailed it and literally almost broke the rod in half. It was so big of a red.
Yeah, monsters.
And so before I knew it, I moved me and Colin around the corner back in the Turtle Bay, and we nailed a couple nice little reds. They weren't huge reds, but it was nice to go out with the boy to spend time with Colin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's beautiful out there. I went out there with Alex this past winter. Alex Rice, Captain Alex. And he put us on a couple of beautiful reds out there. They just, it's like any other parts when you're fishing flat areas, as they fish the potholes to look around for the potholes, look for the reds. If you can't find the reds that are tailing, then look for the potholes. They're hiding in there, sitting outside of them waiting.
I find that they're in the potholes by the creek areas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always been my assumption. That's where either they're in the mouth of the creek, there's enough water, or when the water starts going out, they come out into the potholes out in front of the creeks.
Yep.
And they sit in there until they can get back to the mouth of the creek and try to hunt for more crabs. Listen, crabs and shrimp is what they really want.
That's why they're there.
They'll take the thread fins and the pilchards and things of that and the pinfish. But for the most part, they want the crab because that's what makes them fat.
You know, you look any place where you see crabby putting his crab traps down, I guarantee you're going to see the redfish schools within a couple hundred yards of that whole 2 mile length of crab traps. So they're going to be in there somewhere because
I cast around crab traps. I don't know about you guys. When you go by a crab trap, I put a cast on the left, a cast on the right of every box that I go by because.
Let's be honest, crab traps are basically chum traps. So it's actually you're chumming the water.
You have a piece of chum and you have a box
around it,
and a box
and
basically works like a fish buoy.
Sure.
It's a fish buoy.
So it attracts them. So the redfish smell that. They smell the crabs in there. They smell the fish in there. They smell all the stuff
they
want to
see
eat.
the crabs in there. They're like, hold on. If you come out, I'm eating you.
But they're plentiful too. You want to scoop up crabs, bring a crab net with you in a little bucket, and you can get all kinds of crabs.
I seen about 6-7 crabs just swimming along yesterday.
Scoop them up.
I take my rod tip, guys, and as I see them, I go down to them, I circle them once. They have points all over them. The line grabs them. I just pull them right into the boat and throw them into the bottom of the boat. They jump off the line about that time, and then I trap them and put them in my cooler. I pinch their claws off so they don't go ahead and bite the crap out of me.
Yep.
And then I use those things to bring home.
Oh, either that or just bring them home and eat them. I'm telling you. You want to float with the tide, get out there on the flats, any John boat, scoop a net up here at Walmart. You can buy a crab net in a bucket for about $6.
Well, it's because the full moon is happening right now. Crabs always move when the moon is full.
Sure.
They're either going to go out with the tide or they're going to come in with the tide. I see the crabs, they get up and they use their fins and they float up in the tide, or they drop to the bottom and they crawl across the bottom wherever they're going. You know, the crabs are crazy like that, but they move like an army. It might as well be the Korean army, you know?
Yep, they do, and the fish know where they're at. So like I said, you find the traps, you find the crabs, you find the fish. I mean, that's where they're at.
They work, guys, and it's a definite thing. You can take the crab out and don't have to have a live well running. All you have to do is put them in a cooler. They don't even really need to be frozen, you know, you don't have to just not be hot, and they'll stay alive for like 2 days.
Yep, it's true. I mean, they do hold up. Even fiddler crabs, you catch them along the beaches, throw them in a bucket with some seaweed. Just keep them moist. Don't keep them underwater.
A burlap
just
bag, a salt water on a burlap bag, they'll stay alive for a long time.
They'll keep great. I have a guy here in Northport that throws his in his refrigerator. They look like they die, but they don't. When they warm up again, they start going.
They come right back to life.
So, you know, definitely work great. We're going to wrap it up. Me and Chris are going fishing this week down the East Wall. We're going to have a good time, and you guys got to get out and go fishing.
Most definitely.
We're going to be playing. I want to thank all very quickly: Impact Lures, Daniel's Deceivers, Custom Rods, Canyon Reels, Fat Point Brewery. Great beer, guys.
Thank you for the beers, guys.
His shirts and everything. Great sponsors. We appreciate it. Chris is going to definitely help me find that big tarpon. And we're going to try to get one on record. And if not, I'm going to go for the snook record, I'm going to go for the trout record, and I'm going to go for the redfish record too. I figured since I paid the membership fee, I might as well go for them all.
Well, he's going to go for all the records, and I'm going to go for all the memories.
I see that.
I don't care about the records, guys. I just care about the memories.
As long as you get a video of the memories, I'm a happy man.
He gets all my memories on video, so that way he's starting to...
And then you get them right after.
Hey, listen, I'm just showing you guys that it pays to live in paradise.
Yep.
And I've lived here all my life. So you still have to go to work. You still have to do your job. Obviously, we haven't shot a show in forever.
Now, what we did in August
we're working.
And it is 100 degrees out there. There's not a lot of people down here, so we needed about a month just to...
But for something that's happening, I'm working a lot right now. Frankie's been working a lot. We haven't had the time, but you know what? You guys need to realize that we live in the second best fishing spot in the world. And it's Port Charlotte, Florida.
And the tarpon capital of the world. Boca Grande, Florida. Port Charlotte, Charlotte Harbor.
That's what makes it the fishing capital. But you'll find out that it's not just about the tarpon when you get here. There are so many species to fish for. You can't even name them all. You get tired of it.
Fishyfins.com, charter boat captains. Click on it at the top. You see this, man? This after 12, 14 beers. I don't even know my own website. charter boat captains on the top, great local guys. They'll put you on fish. I mean, get local, get with these guys. It's well worth the money. They'll show you where to fish. They'll show you how to fish, and you get to take the fish home with you at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, they'll fillet it for you,
yeah,
take it home and eat it.
You're gonna get a meal out of it too,
have a really great meal.
and a meal that you can't buy at any restaurant.
Just get down here, man. The gas is so cheap now. It's gonna be below $2. Just jump in your SUV and run your butt down here.
Come on down, let's go fishing and tune in. We're going to start doing a show about every 2 weeks. I'm going to keep it up to date. We're going to start doing about a 3-minute segment for local news broadcast for a fishing report. We got that coming up, yep, definitely. And a whole lot of tarpon fishing for the International Game Fish Association. Christopher, I thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Frank. Let's go do it.
See you in about a week. Thank you.
See you on the water.
Fat Point. Awesome.